Thanks for joining me, Coach DeCarlo. I'm excited about today's lesson. Today's lesson is what you say is what you get. What we're going to do is give you some tools today that will allow you to transform your life and also impact the lives of those around you. Once you begin to understand the power of your words, you will never just idly speak a word in your life or the lives of others. Again, today's lesson is what you say is what you get. Enjoy. I think often we underestimate the power of our words. But I want to take you to the beginning. When God created the heavens and the universe, God said, and it was so. For example, God said, earth be, and it was so. Sky be, and it was so. And really what he said, when you look at it in the Aramaic, is God just said earth, and earth manifested. Sky, and sky manifested. Sea separate from the waters, and darkness from night, and it was so. God just said it, and it was so. Now, what we discover in the beginning is that God said, let us create man and women after our image and after our likeness. And it was so. So, what we discover is if God said, and it was so, and if he's created men and women after his image and likeness, then when we say, then it is so. And you have to begin to understand this, Creator. You can't speak or continuously think in a certain way and believe that you're going to manifest something altogether different. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Einstein said that insanity is saying the same thing over and over again, but expecting different results. He called that insanity. And many of us are operating out of an insane mindset because we continuously practice the same actions over and over again, and yet we expect different results. What we discover as we look through ancient texts is that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Now, how does that apply to you, Creator? In the beginning of everything that you see manifested in your life, it starts off with a feeling, a state, a thought, a word, and then an action. And then it is manifested in the realm of reality. Anything that you have in your life started off in thoughts, words, and actions. And if you want those things to change, then you must start off at the core, at your thoughts, your feelings, your state. Then you'll see it manifested in your conversations, in your words. And then you'll begin to see that your actions will become different. We discover in Scripture where it says that which was from the beginning, that which we heard, that which we experienced through our five senses, that we've touched, that same thing that has been manifested started off as a word. Everything has its origin in your states, your thoughts, your words, your actions, those feelings that you have. When you begin to experience those feelings over and over again, when you begin to think those thoughts over and over again, when you begin to say, I feel unhappy, then that's what you begin to manifest in your life. But if you have a slight change from unhappy to I'm feeling better, then I feel okay, then I'm feeling pretty good, then I'm feeling great, then what's going to happen over that process is that you're going to begin to experience the power of those words. Jesus was one day he was walking with the disciples, and he saw a fig tree at a distance. And this fig tree had leaves on it. And he said to himself that I'll go to this fig tree and pick some figs because I'm hungry. When Jesus got to the fig tree, it was barren. But it had given the impression that there were figs on it because, of course, it had leaves on it. Jesus cursed the fig tree and said, from this point on, no man will eat from you. And some say that at that moment, the disciples, they said at that moment that the tree began to wither. The following day when they passed the fig tree, Peter said, Lord, the fig tree that you cursed has withered up. And Jesus said to them, if you say to this mountain, be ye plucked up and cast into the sea, it will be done for you. He says, but the criteria is this, that you have the faith of God. Now, some translations will say that you have faith in God. But when you look at it in the Aramaic, what you discover is that it says that you have the faith of God, or the God type of faith. Now you say, well, DeCarlo, how does one get the God type of faith? That seems like that's just something that's out there that is unattainable. The God type of faith is that faith that you know because you are sons and daughters of the living God. That what you say is manifested. And that you know, as it were, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that what you say will in fact be manifested. You know that you can say what it is that's on your heart to say, and that it's going to reap a result. The God type of faith is that faith that you know that what it is that you're saying is going to be manifested, because you're seeking out that which is pleasing to the Father. You're seeking out that which is pleasing to yourself. You're seeking that which is beneficial to those that you come in contact with. When you're using the God type of faith, that faith that's centered in that Christ-centeredness, you can ask what it is that you want, and it will be manifested unto you. I'm going to give you an example, much simpler than this, which sounds like it's unattainable. You say, well, I'm going to go to the grocery store and I'm going to pick up a gallon of milk and a box of cereal and perhaps a bag of sugar. So you write your list out, and then you go to the grocery store and you pick up a gallon of milk, a box of cereal, and a bag of sugar. Now, you knew that you were going to pick up those things without a shadow of a doubt. You exercise the God type of faith every day in your life, but you take it for granted. And you say, well, that's just something I was going to do anyway. Exactly. When you get to the place that you know that what you seek to manifest in your life is going to be manifested, it's just a matter of time before that thing is manifested in your life. We do this every day, but because we do it every day, we take this power for granted. What I'm asking you to do is to become conscious creators and begin to know that what it is that you seek to manifest in your life will in fact be manifested. Start off with small things, but know that everything that you do, that you think about, that you decide to do, is faith in action. For you to leave home and get to your destination, let's say work, requires God type of faith. It's a miracle that we can get into traffic and all the thousands upon thousands of other drivers out there, and we can make it from point A to point B safely. But we take those things for granted. But Jesus said it this way, "Truly I say to you, whoever says unto this mountain, Be thou taken up, cast into the sea, and shall not doubt in your heart, but believe that the thing that you said will come to pass, it shall be done unto that person." Or, let me say it this way, you shall have what you say. So we have to understand that we're always creating. We do the asking. We do the seeking. We do the knocking. And what's said in Scripture? Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door shall be open. Ask, seek, and knock. And know that the thing that you're seeking is seeking you. So whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe that you shall have them. And you shall, in fact, have them. Now you say, well, DeCarlo, I'm not much of a prayer. I'll say this to you, creators. You pray more often than you know. Prayer is not the exercise of air being forced up out of your lungs, tendernizing your vocal cords, and then allowing you to speak and verbalize these requests, as it were, to God. Prayer are those thoughts, those feelings, those words, those actions that you meditate upon daily. A friend of mine recently asked me about hypnosis because she saw that I was a certified hypnotherapist. And she said, now, DeCarlo, I just have to ask the question, is hypnosis a part of that New Age stuff, that occult stuff? You know, because I've studied a lot of occult stuff, and brother, I'm just kind of concerned that maybe you're going off in the wrong path. And I told my sister, I said that hypnosis is actually a very useful tool, and it's nothing to do with the occult. Basically what it is it allows one to focus their attention on the things that they desire. We all find ourselves in a hypnotic state. How many of us have driven down the road, and we've driven maybe 30 minutes, and all of a sudden we're at our destination, and we have no idea how we got there? We went into what we call autopilot. You were actually in a hypnotic state at that moment. It was a self-induced hypnotic state, but you were in a state of hypnotics. Think about when you're watching TV and you're watching this commercial, and you see this commercial time and time again. You say, you know what? That sandwich looks so good. I think that I'm going to go out and purchase that sandwich that I saw in that commercial. You were in a self-induced hypnotic state, and the commercial advertisers took advantage of that state and gave you a subliminal message. But you were operating out of a place of hypnosis. A dear friend of mine, I had called to check on her because she's been battling with breast cancer. And they had to perform some procedures on her, but they did not take her under. They did not cause her to sleep because they did not want her state to change in her body that could cause a aggravation in the surgery that they were performing at that moment. So she had to stay awake. Now, of course, they had they had pain medication that would help her so that she would not feel the pain. But what she was experiencing the pulling of her skin as they were performing this surgery and as they were checking on lymph nodes and so forth within that portion of her breast. She couldn't take it. So what she decided to do was to begin to sing a hymn. She began singing spiritual hymns. And in singing these spiritual hymns, it took her into a self-induced hypnotic state. And she was, as it were, out of body. She could not feel the pulling and the tugging on her skin, and The doctors were concerned because she was as though she was under sedation. But this was self-induced. But it was her way of alleviating the tension that she was experiencing as these doctors were performing surgery on her. So to answer the question about hypnotics being something that's otherworld or occultic, it is actually a very useful tool that doctors are finding very beneficial. Psychology finds the tool of hypnosis very beneficial. People that are trying to lose weight, use the tool of hypnosis. There's so many outreaching benefits of the tool of hypnosis that I fear that sometimes we can be so spiritually minded that we lose the benefit of those things that God has fostered through the wisdom of people that have tools that are just beneficial. So sometimes when you find yourself unable to relax, just kind of relax and see yourself on an island or a trip in Greece or in Paris, and allow yourself to go there, and what you will find and what you'll discover is that relaxation, sleep, will come to you a lot easier. So much for hypnosis, but my whole point in saying that is that when we're thinking about the power of our words, we have to be mindful that like-minded thought, words, and actions produce after their kind. So much so that we often wonder why we keep finding ourselves in a place of lack, loss, and limitation. But if we look to the origin, our feelings, states, thoughts, words, and actions, we will discover that we're the culprit, that our words have deceived us, that our thoughts have deceived us. Jesus says, there's going to be that day where, speaking to the disciples, that I will no longer be with you. He said, but in that day, you can ask the Father anything in my name, and it will be done unto you. He says it in another place that when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I'm in the midst of them. But you notice he didn't just say when one's gathered in my name. God, through the person of Jesus Christ, wants us to understand the importance of unity, of community. See, no one of us can ever do it alone. We're not an island unto ourselves. And if you want any level of success in any arena of your life, it's going to take a community. There was that saying, it takes a village. When 2 or 3 are gathered together in agreement, even if that agreement is one of error, they're going to begin to manifest that spirit of agreement. Jesus would often say, they say, well, you're by yourself. Jesus says, I may appear to be by myself, but where I'm at, the Father's also there. And also, the Spirit bears witness of me. So there's 3 in agreement. Creators. There's no such thing as a self-made billionaire, millionaire, or thousandaire. It all takes a community of others. And when you look on the life of anyone, what you'll find is that there were other people that partnered with that individual to bring about that individual's success. So when you're looking at being successful, when you're looking at manifesting the life that you desire, you have to find people who speak, who think, who feel like you do. One of the most important things in manifesting the life that you've always desired is surrounding yourself with like-minded people. And Scripture says this, that if you lack wisdom, ask God, and He'll show you people to begin to bring into your life. He will bring circumstances that will align you with the appropriate people. There may be a book that's recommended to you. There may be a video that you see. But just be open and know that the thing that you desire to manifest in your life desires to be with you. And as you begin to ask, seek, and knock, know that the manifestation of the thing that you desire is in fact en route, is in fact coming to you. There's a story of Daniel. Daniel was praying for the liberation of Israel from the Babylonians. And Michael the archangel came to Daniel, and he said, Daniel, beloved of God, know that the moment that you began to speak, to pray, to think, your prayer was en route. But I was delayed by the Prince of Persia. So I just want you to know that your prayers, creators, are always being manifested. The problem is, many of us, we begin on a course of prayer, and because the manifestation does not appear immediately, or because we do not recognize the process of the manifestation immediately, we change our mind. And we're like that person that says, they go to the bus station, and they say, I think that I want to go to Dayton, Ohio. No, I think I want to go to New York City. No, I think that I'm going to go to California. And the universe does not know how to respond to you, because the second that it begins the process in motion to manifest the thing that you desire, you change course. Set your attention on the thing that you desire, creator, and begin to move and to live as though that thing was a reality in your life. And I promise you this, that it will soon be a reality. But you have to get your sights in order. You have to begin to have your vision in order. Whosoever acts receives. And we know this because when we ask with a God type of faith, knowing that what we ask is manifested and brought into being. And as I stated to you, creators, when we begin to act with the mind of Christ, when we understand that everything that we ask of the Father is a yes in the person of Jesus Christ, but there's a way to act, and I want to briefly, as we're running out of time, discuss that way of acting. We act in a spirit of love, and I'm going to expound to you what that looks like. First of all, you render no person evil for evil, but be a follower of good. Rejoice in the good of others. When someone has good fortune, rejoice in their good fortune, knowing that yours is en route. Pray without ceasing. And what I stated earlier about prayer was keeping your mind set upon the good and positive things of life, knowing that if that's your focus, thus will be your manifestation. And in everything, give thanks. For this, in fact, is the will of God through Jesus Christ concerning you. You must know that all things, no matter what those things appear to be, in the mind of God are working together for your good. And as you understand that these things are working together for your good, begin to seek the good in that situation. There was a gentleman by the name of W. Stone, and he was an insurance mogul in the mid to early 1900s. And every time W. Clement Stone would come across an obstacle, or what appeared to us to be an obstacle, he said, I'm going to seek the good in this situation. And every time he sought the good, he found it. Ask, seek, and knock, and know. that your good is being manifested in that situation. Creators, you have a wealth of knowledge being given to you. And I know that sometimes these words seem just like a practice in futility and just words being spewed out. But what I pray that you get from this whole thing is that I'm giving you tools to empower you towards your success. And if you begin utilizing these tools, you will find that your manifestation is well on its way. But you have to begin with your state, your thoughts, your words, your actions, and the way that you feel. Unfortunately, most of us allow the tail to wag the dog. We allow these feelings, these states, these words, these thoughts to control us. But when we discover that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and that spirit is our foundation of power, when we begin operating out of the spiritual man and we begin to control our feelings, our states, our thoughts, our words, our actions, we will discover that we can speak to the mountain and we shall have what we say. Remember this, only you can create your perfect world. Not God, nor man. Only you can create your perfect world. Until we speak next week, this is DeCarlo signing out. Have a great and prosperous week.